A reading from the book of the prophet Isaiah. Here is my servant, whom I uphold, my chosen one, with whom I am pleased, upon whom I have put my spirit. He shall bring forth justice to the nations, not crying out, not shouting, and making his voice heard in the street. A bruised reed he shall not break, and a smoldering wick he shall not quench, until he establishes justice on the earth. The coastlands will wait for his teachings. Thus says God, the Lord, who created the heavens and stretched them out, who spreads out the earth with its crops, who gives breath to its people, and spirit to those who walk on it. I, the Lord, have called you for the victory of justice. I have grasped you by the hand. I formed you and set you as a covenant of the people, a light for the nations, to open the eyes of the blind, to bring out prisoners from confinement, and from the dungeon those who live in darkness. The word of the Lord. The Lord is my light and my salvation. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom should I fear? The Lord is my life's refuge. Of whom should I be afraid? When evildoers come at me to devour my flesh, my foes and my enemies themselves stumble and fall. Though an army encamp against me, my heart will not fear. Though war be waged upon me, even then will I trust. I believe that I shall see the bounty of the Lord in the land of the living. Wait for the Lord with courage. Be stout-hearted and wait for the Lord.
Hail to you, our King. You alone are compassionate with our faults. Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ, King of endless glory. The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to St. John. 6 days before Passover, Jesus came to Bethany, where Lazarus was, whom Jesus had raised from the dead. They gave a dinner for him there, and Martha served, while Lazarus was one of those reclining at table with him. Mary took a liter of costly perfume oil, made from genuine aromatic nard, and then went to the feet of Jesus and dried them with her hair. The house was filled with the fragrance of the oil. Then Judas Iscariot, one of his disciples, and the one who would betray him, said, "Why was this oil not sold for 300 days' wages and given to the poor?" He said this not because he cared about the poor, but because he was a thief and held the money bag and used to steal the contributions. So Jesus said, "Leave her alone. Let her keep this for the day of my burial. You always have the poor with you, but you do not always have me." The large crowd of the Jews found out that he was there and came, not only because of him, but also to see Lazarus, whom he had raised from the dead. And the chief priest plotted to kill Lazarus too, because many of the Jews were turning away and believing in Jesus because of him. The Gospel of the Lord. I think we have, how many missionaries do we have? ¿Cuántos? 7. Oh, well, 7 symbolizes probably the 7 sacraments also. Well, uh, we are very grateful of their presence, especially in this week. La presencia de los misioneros en nuestra parroquia. See, I'm now a bilingual, but only that. Like reiterates in giving them this years of mercies theme. Like it tells us we have to go back to the mercy of God, to learn and to become merciful, and not just Him who is merciful, but us. The fruit of the Father's mercy in giving us mercy will make us like merciful, and we become the source of mercy. And I think they're telling us also, why do they need to go to our community? We are already a parish. But probably we can see, look at us. When we'll try to see the celebration for Holy Thursday, like Good Friday, and then Easter Vigil, and then like people are just satisfied of having, I'm regular on my Sunday Mass, but this, especially this event, the Easter Triduum, the feast day of Holy Thursday, telling us about the Eucharist, the center of the liturgy, and then the adoration of the cross on Good Friday. And especially in our gospel today, it tells us, like the plot to kill Lazarus, is telling us about Good Friday. They wanted to kill Lazarus because they do not like to have their faith, the faith on Jesus. And Judas said, you always have the poor. And Jesus said to Judas, you always have the poor. It tells us about the ascension because it says here, you do not always have me all the time. And so in this week, we believe that we are with Jesus. Not just the God that we would like to have all the time, the compassionate, the loving, but this time in this Holy Week, like telling us the suffering Christ in our lives and telling the people that there is the suffering of the Lord so that we may be drawn back into Him. There is one posting in Facebook that I've seen. Well, probably some of you have, tried to get away from Facebook. Well, I did not offer that for my Lent because it helps me. But then there is this very simple explanation, and the person went to the barber shop, and then for the haircut, and then this person has his Bible with him, and then this barber who cuts the hair said, I don't believe in God. And then this person with the Bible tries to give him the words from the Bible about God. And then this barber said, I don't believe in God because, why did God allow those suffering for people, innocent victims of violence? And then the person doesn't have anything to say from the Bible because it's concrete experience in our society. But then coming out from the barber shop, he saw this person with the long hair, and he was thinking to show that to the barber. And then, because the barber said, God doesn't exist at all. And then this person from the haircut presented the person with the long hair. Do you believe that the barber doesn't exist also? And then the barber said, no, I am a barber, I exist. And then, look at this man, a long hair. And then the barber said, because he doesn't come to us. And so the person said, that's exactly what's happening, because the people do not come to God. And I think for us, it helps us. On this Holy Monday, we call it Holy Monday because God has undergone into his suffering in this Easter Triduum, the peak in our preparation to celebrate the Paschal mystery of the Lord.